It says, "Dear Jamie Lee, I've worked on this script forever. We shoot in the fall. I'd love you to be Helen. I direct much better than I handwrite. Jim."
That was Jamie Lee Curtis sharing a note that director James L. Brooks had sent her asking her to be in his new film, Ella McCay. Now, when I heard that James L. Brooks was directing his first movie in 15 years, I knew I had to talk to him and I had to talk to the stars of the film. And so that is exactly what I'm doing today. Now, if you want to hear my conversation with James L. Brooks, you're going to have to go over to the Parting Shot podcast. That was audio only. I really think you're going to want to listen to that conversation because it was fantastic. But today I'm going to speak with Jamie Lee Curtis and Emma Mackey about what it was like working with James L. Brooks and the reverence that they have for him and the legend that James is. Now, you'll hear them call him Jim a lot. I'm not friendly with him. I feel really weird calling him Jim. I don't know why. So I have to call him James, Mr. Brooks. And a little backstory on sort of my own history with James L. Brooks. I have been an admirer of him forever, really. Terms of Endearment is quite literally my favorite movie of all time. Broadcast news is, I work in news. It's perfect. And As Good as It Gets, I think, is the last great romantic comedy. It doesn't, the script does not get better than As Good as It Gets. He's just a master at what he does, and he is back to his form, his beautiful form with Ella McCay. And when I tell you, Emma Mackey and Jamie Lee Curtis are like a perfect pair in a film. Their chemistry is just so real. Ella McCay is about a young politician who suddenly finds herself governor of a state. And a scandal is about to sort of take over her new governorship that is sort of out of her hands, and it's all because of the men in her life. And it's that relationship that she has with her Aunt Helen, played by Jamie Lee Curtis, that grounds her and sort of gives her the confidence to do what she needs to do. The film also stars Albert Brooks, incredible, and he's been in a lot of James L. Brooks movies over the years. I don't think they're related, though. I don't know. Woody Harrelson plays Ella McCay's father. It also has Io Adebri. The cast is incredible. But I particularly loved Julie Kavner. Now, if you're not familiar with Julie Kavner, you need to be. Of course, she was like Rhoda's best friend back in the 70s, but she also was a frequent collaborator with Tracy Ullman, which is how she became the voice of Marge Simpson on The Simpsons, which James L. Brooks happens to have developed and produces. She's also in a great Nora Ephron movie. I believe it was Nora Ephron's first movie that she directed called This Is My Life. She played a stand-up comic, and she is so good in that movie. That movie is so good. But I really think you're going to enjoy my conversations with Jamie Lee Curtis and Emma Mackey. And make sure you go check out Ella McCay. It's a fantastic film. I love a human interest story, a story that's just about people being people, living complicated lives. And nobody writes women better. No one tells those sort of complicated stories of human emotions better than the great James L. Brooks. So go to the Parting Shot podcast to listen to that chat that I had with James L. Brooks, and you can go grab a snack and get ready for my fantastic chat first with Jamie Lee Curtis and then Emma Mackey. It's so nice to see you. So we spoke a few weeks ago after I saw this film about how just incredible this moment is for you. Like this year you've been having. How do you feel?
I'm wearing pantyhose. That's how I feel. I just realized they're digging in a little. I'm like, why am I wearing pantyhose? You're not seeing them. I'm wearing a skirt and boots or a dress and boots. Look, I have waited my whole life to have the life I have today. Yeah. I've waited my whole life. I have been patient as fuck.
Yeah.
And
iconic along the way.
Well, but you see, that's not for me. I'm the one who has to wake up every day and look in the mirror. Mm-hmm. And when I'm looking in the mirror, I'm looking at the problem and the solution at the same time.
Yeah.
But I'm not often in control of my destiny. Right? Yeah. I'm only in control of how I feel about myself.
Yeah.
Then I have the opportunity only to do what comes to me. Even if I produce something, I'm creating an opportunity for myself, but I'm not a writer. I'm not writing those characters. So the bear coming to me, everything, everywhere, all at once, Deirdre Bo Beardra, finding her way to me changed my life. But my job is to wait for Deirdre.
Yeah.
Then show up and do my thing and then let it go. And then
I would add to it, though, it's the energy you put out and then being open to receiving it. You're receiving it and saying yes to it.
Yeah.
But it's your energy.
And I appreciate that very much. And yet there are a lot of people with beautiful energy.
Sure.
Who aren't getting that opportunity. So I also understand it isn't. And I understand there are a lot of people don't like me. And no, yeah. I am not.
I don't like them.
But it's not that, there are plenty of people who probably, there are plenty beautiful directors who've never even considered me for anything.
Yeah.
And I mean, great directors, all of whom I respect, admire, hold as the greatest ever.
Yeah.
I've been around a long time. Yeah. So I've had to you have to reconcile that.
Totally.
You have to go like, okay, so-and-so, so-and-so, so-and-so have never hired me or even met me.
Mm-hmm.
And yet I get to wake up and still feel like I have value in the universe.
Yeah.
And the way that happens is that things that do come my way, then I'm ready for them. I take advantage of them. And then I try to do the best I can do. And then sometimes people like it and sometimes people don't. And I'm old enough to understand that that's okay.
Yeah.
I had a recent thing happen where I thought this person who I was speaking to was supposed to be something sort of positive or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think she just didn't like me so much. And it's that thing where you go, okay.
Well, you have the Oscar at home, so it doesn't matter.
Well, yeah, that's true. But here's what I want to tell you, because I know you're writing about Jim.
Yeah.
Emma and I were just doing some work. And you have to remember this, you were the first person that I spoke to who'd seen this movie.
Yeah.
That was 4 months in Providence in the bleak midwinter. It was rough there.
Yeah.
And when you have that experience and you don't know what someone's reaction to it, and then you gave me your reaction, which was still very meaningful to me. What I realized is, Emma and I were just talking about the process. Most times, if I'm going to do my work, what I'm going to bring, 80% of the time, I don't like somebody who comes up with percentages, but for the great majority of the time, that's why they hired me.
Yeah.
Right? They go, great.
Yeah.
Like Chris Starrer understood I knew who she was. The Daniels understood that I knew who Deirdre was.
Yeah.
I did not need to be steered all that much because the part was very clear to me. I knew exactly, had this whole thing
and that's
where...
part of the energy, I think, too.
Okay, but I had this thing about Deirdre.
Yeah.
Where she had meticulous nails. And when they asked me why, I said, because it's the only time in the week anyone touches her. She goes to get a manicure, and the woman giving the manicure holds her. So she has immaculate nails, even though she works in the IRS office.
Yeah.
I understood who Deirdre was. Jim Brooks, you give him that instinct, and he's like, no. No.
Yeah.
I don't want that.
Yeah.
Now what are you going to give me? That's what Emma and I were talking about, is that it becomes then a wrestling match.
Interesting.
Beautiful wrestling match.
Yeah.
Creative, collaborative, intelligent, complicated.
Yeah.
But he isn't going to just be like, oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That 80.
How did he challenge you to find her?
By saying that's not good enough. Like a lot.
Well, I'll tell you, in my chat with him, he said you were not only a cheerleader, but a firework on set, in what you're able to bring to a set that then inspires every other actor.
But that's process.
Yeah.
That's We're talking about a flesh and blood human who's defending. I keep going like this because Emma was sitting here for the last 3 hours, so she's not here now. So I keep looking, and there's her Aquapana bottle, which is as close. But it's very, yes, that's my secret sauce.
Yeah.
It's not so secret.
Yeah.
And it's, you know what I mean? It's like, that's what I hope my lifetime of life has brought is that. I'm talking about the work, the performance, the Helen of it all.
Yeah.
That process was much more challenging in a Jim Brooks movie because the movie has lived in his head for 15 years.
Yeah.
He's not going to so quickly give it over to you when you start now reciting the lines that he's written.
Yeah.
Because he's like, no, 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 no.
Yeah.
And right away you're like, oh, okay.
It's different.
And what it does is it really removes your instinct.
Yeah.
And allows your art to come out in a very different way. Your instinct will carry you most of the time. But with a Jim Brooks, it's not good enough. And he really removes it.
Yeah.
And kind of strips it off you. And then that's when the work begins.
Well, so to that point.
That was thrilling and terrifying.
Yeah, I'm sure. And when you're at this point, like I was saying, in your career, where Jim Brooks is coming to you, which is massive.
I have the note.
Oh, wow.
The note said, Jamie Lee, this script has been in my... Hold on. Hold, please. 10 seconds. Everybody talk amongst yourselves.
Hi, everyone.
Okay, here's the note. It says, Dear Jamie Lee, I've worked on this script forever. We shoot in the fall. I'd love you to be Helen. I direct much better than I handwrite. Jim.
That sounds like something Jim would write. Wow. Wow.
So that's how
much it means to you. Well, so then to that, to have someone like Jim Brooks coming to you at this point, you won the Oscar, you're established, everyone, even though you have seen every aspect of this industry, from television to film to genres, you really have, though, in that you've done the journeyman actor thing. Then now to get someone like Jim Brooks who has won women Oscars for the roles that he writes for women, what does that mean?
Well, what thrilled me was it had nothing to do with the shiny things. It had to do with the movies that he makes.
Yeah.
And as I was driving to his house for our first meeting, in my head was Terms of Endearment, As Good as It Gets, like movies that, I mean, Terms of Endearment.
It's my favorite movie. It really is.
I mean, Terms of
genius.
Endearment. So, yes, the opportunities are new and thrilling. And by the way, I remind you that even Deirdre Bo Beardra was a interesting, beautifully written, but confusing as fuck script about multiverse. At the center of it was love. But I didn't know that it was, I knew it was great, but I mean, it was a little movie we made in 38 Days in Simi Valley.
Yeah.
In 2020, in January, right before COVID, we finished shooting Everything Everywhere All at Once the day COVID shut the world down.
Wow.
March 17th or 13th or 10th or whatever that March date was.
Yeah.
We finished the Friday before. So, and then the movie came out 2 years later.
Yeah.
So the last, like I had forgotten that we had made that weird little movie in Simi Valley. And then, of course, it became something that people loved. It spoke to people. So obviously that movie has made other opportunities come my way. I've been patient for a long time.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
I mean, when I saw that you were going to be in this, I mean, I told Jim this, that he's my everything of a writer. Everything that he is what I aspire, that dance between comedy and drama. And so few actors can find that dance and make it believable. And you and Emma in this film, I feel like we're able to find a rhythm. So what was it about that dance that you and Emma have to do in a Jim Brooks movie that made this story so impactful from our conversation, what it meant to you?
So I'll tell you this, that when I grew up, there was a friend of my mother's. Her name was Gwen Davis. She was a novelist, wrote many bestsellers, quite sexy books. Beautifully constructed, she was brilliant. She went to Bryn Mawr, playwright, novelist, nutty, difficult person. Gwen Davis was the only person in my life who ever looked at me and said, I see you.
Wow.
Jamie, I see you. I was 15, 16. She looked at me and said, you're really smart. You're really funny. You have something very special. You're incredible. Because I could barely spell incredible. I could barely crawl out of school. Nothing in the delivery system gave you any indication that I was anything. I wasn't an athlete. I wasn't an artist. I wasn't in plays. I could dance a little, but I can't sing. Nothing. I wasn't good in school. My grades were low. My SAT scores were nothing. Nothing said that I had anything except Gwen Davis. So Gwen Davis is my Aunt Helen.
Oh, that's lovely.
I know what it feels like to have somebody look at you and say, you're incredible, and I have your back. And I will always have your back because I see you. Being seen by another person is one of the most profound, intimate experiences we can have, right? And I'm not talking about lovers, sexual intimacy. I'm talking about emotional intimacy, human intimacy. That is, to me, the strength of what you get to see in the movie. And the truth is, I didn't know Emma Mackey. I met her at Jim Brooks' house. We shook hands, we hugged, and I understood what my job was from that moment on. So now no one has, I've never spoken of Gwen. Her son, Robert, and I are still friends. She passed a while ago. I stayed friends with her all the way through her life. Difficult person. But loved me.
Well, I'll end with this then. One of the things, and I've said this to your representation, I've said this to everybody, you're so real. In Hollywood, that is so rare. And you are the energy of the Gwen you're speaking of to so many people who encounter you, even journalists. The fact that you want to extend the conversation in a way that you see the people who respect you and you see the people that have seen your work, been with you on this journey and have admired you along the way. So I just want to thank you for being the Gwen for so many people.
Thanks for saying it. But remember this, a brand is actually not like, it's not my, like, I want to be me, but I also want and appreciate that I'm also completely fucked up and complex and contradictory.
Well, that's why we love you.
Well, but I'm saying that's what's so beautiful about the movie is that you can relate to the reality of the messy family and the relationship with the auntie and the douchey husband, but that it's relatable, all of it. So what you just said to me is very moving, and I should have just said thank you, and instead I'm trying to also go but, and so
you are that.
Okay,
You are that. You are that. And I think.
And
I'm telling you, a chat with Jamie Lee Curtis is always memorable. It's inspirational. It's just fantastic. And I'm always honored to be able to do it. And I'm sure you enjoyed it. Now I'm chatting with Emma Mackey. I never chatted with her before, and she was a real delight. And we basically had a James L. Brooks fan fest. It's so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
First off, I have to ask you, because it must be terrifying to have your character's name as the name of the movie. What is that like? And are you on medication for the anxiety? Because I would be.
No, I'm not. Thank you for asking. But everything's terrifying. Yes, it's a huge honor, and it's just a wonderful, fateful thing to have a name that's relatively similar to a character that Jim has written for the past 13 14 years. It's a great responsibility, really, not to get intense about it, but I felt a great responsibility to him, towards him, and to making sure that the film was as dense and full of life as he'd intended it to be from the start. So it was quite an experience.
Well, I'm such a fan of James L. Brooks, massive of all of his films.
Yeah.
And I spoke with Jim and I spoke with Jamie. I spoke with a lot of people. I spoke with a lot of other people who've been in his films. And there's something about the way, he literally wins women Oscars. The women in his films have all consistently won a lot of awards. So what is it about the way that, do you think, he writes female characters that just elevates them to a different level?
Yeah, you're right for saying that, and I think he just has, that's the feeling you get when you watch his films, and that's certainly the feeling that I had when I read this script. He just seems to have a deep, profound, intrinsic understanding of female relationships and how certain women operate within a family structure and outside of a family structure, and in a chosen family environment, perhaps too. And he takes his time with it, and you're right to use the word elevate. I think that's very true. I think he takes great care, and I think everything means something with him. Nothing's left to chance, nothing's gratuitous or just kind of popped in there, see what happens. It's really, he's really diligent in his whole manner, and he's very poetic too, and there's poetry in that. But it's never for free. It's never for show. There's there's always something behind it, and it hits you in a way. In this film, I saw it last week for the first time, and it was just so wonderful to hear those words out loud, and to see them in the final piece, so to speak, because some of those one-liners and some of those expressions really, really hit home, and they're really impacting. I knew what was happening, but they really impacted me. I was like, oh my gosh, it's really pleasantly overwhelming.
Well, and on that, I saw the film maybe a month ago now at the Disney lot, and I remember watching it, really being moved between you and Jamie's connection throughout the film. And I called her afterwards just to process what it must be like for her at this point in her career to be in a James L. Brooks movie. That means something. That's huge. Yeah. But for you at this point in your career, on sort of the opposite spectrum of Jamie, to be in a James L. Brooks movie, what is that like for you?
It's a lot. Can't speak, but it's very special, and he means a lot, and his films mean a lot to a lot of people, and they feel like time capsules to me as well, and they feel nostalgic without being sort of soppy. They're nostalgic for the right reasons. They sort of capture something that's really essential in people and humans and whatever it is, and the messiness of it, to put it lightly. And he's able to translate that over time and through the different decades and the different iterations of films that he's made. But it's life. It was life changing. Yeah. Let's not beat around the bush. Yeah. For me, definitely quite significant. To be trusted by that kind of person. And to be opposite, like you said, Jamie, who's also at this point in her career, who's worked so hard, and they've both created these ridiculously dense, rich lives for themselves. Yeah. And to just be in the same room as them, and to be able to play with them, and to be able to challenge each other, and all the things that come with filming. It's miraculous, really. Every film is a little miracle, and this one, it definitely feels miraculous to me. Yeah.
There is something, the state of Hollywood. It's really hard to get a human interest film made.
Yeah.
Like a film just about people having relationships and problems and talking. Unless there's a monster or a superhero or something that comes in that we've seen before, it doesn't get made.
Yeah.
And only James L. Brooks can actually make a film like that in a lot of ways. So what stands out about this story that you think is so different than what maybe other things you've been offered or you've done in your career or you've seen out there right now?
Yeah, I think it's all of the things you just said. I mean, I think he has that capacity. The way he writes is so it's so rich, and it's everything means so much to him. And there's not. I feel like it's very rare to see. It's very rare to see a sort of almost a woman's not her whole life, but to go from 17 or 16 to 34. And to be able to have the freedom to go into flashbacks and to have narration, which is something that's also been lost and is sometimes kind of overlooked. And it's kind of like, but it's such a useful tool, especially when you have Julie Kavanagh's voice, who's just heaven
and
to me.
Insane. I cannot get out of my head her saying, and I'm nuts about it.
It's my favorite thing to have ever happened in life.
Yeah.
It's tremendous. And everyone gets their say in the film. Everyone has something to defend. Yes, it's called Ella McCay, but she doesn't exist without everyone propelling her forward in the same way that she wants to propel other people forward. In her relationship with her little brother, the way she is with her auntie, this ease that they have, this trust that they have, and the way that they're safe with each other in the midst of these, these crazy, jack in the boxes that are her dad and her husband, namely. And it's about how they find joy as well, and joy and how Jamie's character is also able to take stock for Ella and remind her to just kind of just take a beat and just where are you right now? Take that in, and we move forward, and we move on and we move through whatever this is, and we get to the next step, and it's so nice to see people seeing each other, like really seeing the person opposite them.
There's a moment in every James L. Brooks movie, and it was in this movie as well, where the central character, your character, meets up with Helen, Jamie Lee Curtis's character, and it's the scene with the scream. But you see this person, these two people who are able to say so much to each other without saying anything at all. And it's in Terms of Endearment. I'm thinking broadcast news with Holly Hunter going to Albert Books. And I mean, there's so many moments where everything is said without any words. And so I guess I want to know from you, what of his work, his past work, stands out to you that made this experience even more special? What's your history with James L. Brooks movies?
Wow. Great question. It's also interesting that you're right. There's so much said with no words, and yet all of his films are so dialogue dense.
Yes.
And they're so snappy and they're so sharp.
Yeah.
There's so much to it. But you're right, he's also able to let those dialogues breathe and to go and find the little twitch of a mouth or a blink of an eye that is going to just
say
what
everything.
was that? And that's the fact that he's able to capture that and tease that out of his actors. Is a skill, and it's not like it's not an easy. Jamie has spoken about this as well, but it was a real journey, and I sort of jokingly say we were in a sort of marriage with Jim, because it is that thing. You kind of stick with that person, and you show up, and you argue, and you try and find a way through a moment, and you're trying to find whatever the truth is of that particular scene and make it happen anyway. But to the latter part of the question, broadcast news to me is
I mean, everything.
I know. I mean, it's perfect, and Holly Hunter in that movie is everything, and the relationships between her and Albert Brooks, and there's that sort of. I thought the way that the best friend male-female relationship is represented in that film is really true and really perfect, and the boundaries that are blurred, and the. Should we venture into that space? And no, actually, there's so much playfulness to it as well, in a very serious, very high octane world of the newsroom, where everything has to be, to the second, and it's and you believe it. By the way, this is another thing, is I believe what I'm seeing, even in the the comedy of it and the time, all these things that are put into place. I believe what I'm seeing.
Yeah,
I believe the grief in Terms of Endearment. I believe it, and I believe this film. I believe in this film, and I believe this film. When I see it, I see human beings.
Yeah.
And I see the mistakes and I see the foibles and the little things that make it a bit, make it
real.
tick differently.
Yeah. And grounded. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
my last question for you is, what's something, and Jamie spoke to this a little bit, but what's something that how James L. Brooks directs, and she was saying how he's just different from everybody else in the way he challenges actors and the way she worked. She had never worked with someone like that. So what is something that James did or Jim did in the process of working with him that you'll take with you going forward?
A lot of things. She's right. There is a particular style, but it's also he just doesn't stop until we've tried everything. I think, and I think he's also very curious and open enough to admit that he doesn't necessarily know what he wants in the best way, as in let's just try everything. And yes, you've done that way 15 times, but I want it another 12 times until something a little different, a little shift happens, whatever that might be. So it's exhausting and exhilarating all at once, and also the sheer amount of rehearsal that there was beforehand. We had a lot of time to read through the scenes together, get to know each other, get them up on their feet, figure out before we even started shooting. And I think that works for him too, and it reassures him too. And I think that's a really good, healthy way. When you can, rehearsal's everything.
Yeah.
You get to do that in theater for a prolonged period of time. You just get to be in this bubble and rehearse every day.
And television. I mean, Jim's background too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But the rhythm's different, and you have a couple of months to get these moments out. So, but it's joyful, and he's had this long career, and seeing him show up to work every day with his coffee and his pad and his blue pen and his smile and his charm is just was great.
Yeah.
It's just great, and it's lovely to see people love their jobs. I know that's a very basic thing to say.
It makes your job better.
It's such a privilege, and I know it's not it's not a given, and we are very fortunate to do our jobs, and it's nice to see people like Jim doing it and really showing up and fighting for it too, because it's a fight at the end of the day.
Well, you did fantastic in the film. I really enjoyed it a lot.
Thank you so much.
And it's just fantastic.
Thank you.
Nice meeting you.
It's nice meeting you too.
Thanks so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. You know what to do. Subscribe, like, comment, the things that the internet wants you to do. And you can follow me at H. Alan Scott on everything. If you like what I've been posting here, please let me know in the comments. That would be very, very helpful. And watch something fun today. Have a good one.